Hey, I'm PJ. I play guitar in the band HIROE, and we're going to run through some of the things that I use for recording and for live. Cool, so I guess we'll get into guitars first. We have here is a Pelagic Espada. It's a nice guitar. They're a local company. They're in Pottstown, PA. It's kind of an offset body style, kind of like a Fender, but the neck is a little bit quicker and faster, sort of like an Ibanez or a Jackson. But kind of like a nice balance of both. Kind of a modern sounding guitar with some classic touches. It's in rustic black. The original pickups I actually swapped out. They were great, but I just kind of prefer my usual setup, which is a Seymour Duncan pearly gates in the neck and a Duncan custom in the bridge. Guitar has a three-way switch, pretty simple stuff. Volume and tone. The tone actually does have a push-pull knob on it for like in-phase, out-of-phase stuff, which I appreciate. It's nice to get like some Strat-style tones for the guitars. But it's a great guitar. It's a ripper, and you can feel like I can just beat on it, and it always stays in tune, and it's a really, really solid instrument. I really like it. What we have here is a Fender Telecaster baritone. I really like this guitar a lot. We play in a lot of lower tunings, so it's nice to have something that kind of covers that ground without feeling like slop. It's a 27.5-inch scale neck, which so it kind of feels more like a traditional guitar, but it's kind of gets you in that lower tuning territory, but keeping the taut feel of a standard tuned guitar. Came with some upgraded tuners and an upgraded bridge. When I originally played one of these for the recording, I borrowed it from a friend, Ryan from Throes Pedals, who lived near the recording studio, and I loved it so much that I offered to buy it from him, but he would not sell it to me. Thanks, Ryan. So I had to go on Reverb and buy one of these. Spent too much money on it, but it's really cool. I really like it. Original pickups sounded great, but I put a Seymour Duncan quarter pounder in the neck and a Duncan custom in the bridge, just kind of like what I like to use. It did have a middle pickup, but I took it out and affectionately wrote nope, because I just don't need the extra pickup, and something needed to be there instead of just a hole. So, three-way switch and volume and tone. Guitar sounds like a Telecaster, just more appropriate for the lower tunings that we do often in this band. But great guitar all around, really like it. Okay, I guess we'll get into pedal land. First thing in the chain here is the Boss tuner. I've had it for like 10 or 15 years. I can't get away from it. It always works. I'm sure there's like smaller pedals, tuner pedals, but I've just been using this one forever and I'm so used to it. So I've just held on to it, and it is unbreakable. So great for touring. Moving on from there is this Tone Job EQ from Earthquaker Devices. I've had this pedal for a while. It's a great EQ slash preamp. I would say it's more like a preamp than it is an EQ. You've got treble, bass, and mid-range and level. It's not really about sculpting frequencies, like choosing specific bands in like a really clinical way, as much as it is just, if you want more treble, turn up some more treble, or if you want some more bass, turn up some more bass. I like the sound of the pedal itself, and I keep everything pretty much set around, between like 1 or 2 o'clock. This is kind of where I like it. I like the sound of the pedals, so I just kind of roll with pretty even settings, just to give the signal a little more life. And then from there we go to this Benson Germanium boost. This company's out of Portland. I really like what they're doing with pedals, and this is a really simple circuit, just a one knob booster. It's pretty cool sounding. It's really subtle, but I would describe this pedal as sort of like just giving my signal a little more lift and a little bit more oomph on the bottom end. More noticeable with the higher notes of the guitar, which is interesting, and there's like a little bit of like a mid-range dirty bump in there, just like a really slight. I have the pedal set like slightly above unity gain, and I would say there's probably like a little bit of soft compression going in there too. Interesting pedal, but that plus the Tone Job is my basic always on sound. and it's really lovely sounding. I really like the combination of the two. From there, we go to this Hudson Electronics Broadcast. I love this pedal. It's really interesting sounding drive pedal, not like other drive pedals. It's based on, I believe, an American Neve preamp circuit. So, a really simple pedal knob-wise. You have a low cut and then just gain. And then level for each of the drive channels. There's a lower drive channel that I use basically for all the parts, all the dirty parts in our songs. And then there's a secondary drive channel that you can throw on. It's just a much dirtier version of the first. It's sort of, they both do that like sort of soft clipping thing that you would expect if you were like maxing out a Neve preamp. Really interesting sounding pedal, lots of available treble too, which I love. And just a really high quality sounding drive. I love it, it's really cool. From there we have this Fuzzrocious Lil Fella pedal. I reached out to Ryan and Shannon from Fuzzrocious. Ryan's a good friend, and I custom commissioned my dog to be painted on this pedal. That's my dog Bishop. And Shannon really nailed the artwork. It's really beautiful. Thank you so much, Shannon. This pedal is such a great sounding pedal too. It might replace the Broadcast as my main drive pedal. I use it as a kind of lower drive pedal. It's an OCD based circuit, but Ryan's got the drive and gain separated on this pedal, which is really useful. And it sounds so good on neck pickups. There's also a built-in gate, which is just really helpful, and lots of available volume and drive and gain. This pedal sounds amazing. Aside from it just being an amazing piece of artwork, I just love the sound of this pedal, and I'm surprised. I think it's taking off, but more people need to know about this thing. It's really amazing, and I'm in love. From there we go to this Akai Headrush. I've had this pedal for probably 10 to 15 years as well as the Boss Tuner. I use it as a delay pedal. It's pretty great. It's a kind of like a digital sounding delay, but I like the sound of it. It has a high frequency dampener knob, which is cool. So if you want to get some like lower tone trails or higher tone trails, you can do that. It also functions as a looper, so you click the two buttons and it's easy to cycle between the modes. It's a great sounding looper, and I like the feel of how the knobs work with the looping in the pedal. It's also it has outputs, so you could go to different amps if you wanted to run like a stereo setup or a more complicated setup, and you could actually turn the time adjustment all the way to as short as possible, and then run an output from the pedal to another amp, and actually use the pedal as an A/B switch, sort of. So there's just very useful pedal from that standpoint, and just feels right. The selections with the knobs feel intuitive, and I just like it, and it's held up. Going from there, we have this Artec Parametric EQ. I use this just kind of as like a general boost for accented parts. Kind of like a treble booster. I have the width and the gain, or the Q and the gain set really high all the way up, and then the frequency is just set up in the higher mids treble area. And I'll throw it on if we have like big parts where I'm just like stabbing the guitar. It just kind of makes everything cut through, and just kind of an extra lift for parts like that. It's not a great sounding pedal, but it's kind of trashy sounding, so it has a quality. So like trashy, but like good trash. So if you were like, I don't know, had too many beers, but you really wanted some nachos, but you like know the nachos aren't good for you, but like you like the way they taste, it's kind of like that in pedal form. So, but a cool pedal and a lot of available level and gain. So I don't know, I should probably get a better one, but this is actually pretty cool, and I've had it for years. So just keep using it. And then from there, we have this, last but not least, is this Line 6 Verbzilla. This is a really cool sounding reverb pedal. I've also had this for a long time, and I've tried other reverbs out, but I just like the preamp character of this reverb. It just does a thing, and I like the way it sounds. It hasn't held up too great. I don't think these pedals are great for touring. I've had some issues, and I'll probably have to buy another one soon, but I just haven't found another reverb that sounds quite like it, and I really like the way that it does sound. And it has a lot of different modes. I usually set it to like hall or chamber. And it's pretty cool. You know, it does some other things, but I just kind of use it for that, and I like the sound of the pedal. It's really neat. So that's basically it. Yeah, that's Pedal Land. Okay, moving on to amps, last but not least, here we have a Fender Twin Reverb. This is actually the Tone Master series of this amp, so solid state, no tubes. I'm not really too particular about amplifiers. I just prefer to use something like American voiced. I'll roll with like a Mesa, or I'll even like go with like a Vox, just as long as it's like clean and a good pedal platform. You know, I'm good for it, and this definitely is. You know, I think Fender really nailed it on this one. I would say it's really close to the real thing. But even just on its own, it's a great sounding amplifier. So if you just weren't comparing, it's just excellent sounding amplifier, and a lot of great available features on the back. You've got an attenuator, which is great for at-home playing, and a direct out, which we do use live. It sounds great, so no need to mic the cab. It's also only like 30 pounds, which is just so great for getting around, and it's loud and it sounds great. So I run the controls pretty flat, little verb in the mix, but very, very little. I keep the bright switch up, but just looking for something to get loud and to sound great with the pedals that I'm using. So this thing's been great. I really been enjoying playing it. I think in the studio we used a silver tone for the recording, but this is kind of my main thing live, and yeah, I've been really enjoying it. It's a great amplifier, and yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out. That's it for me. We hope to see you at some shows, and we have a record coming out in July called Wrought, and I hope you really love it. Thanks so much.